Ted Raimi of podcasting, Mart, and I'm here with a man who loves lists more than Liam Neeson. It's Rob. Hello, Rob.
Hi, Mark.
That joke might only come across if you know.
Well, to be honest, if it was my turn to the intro, I would have said, hi, welcome to the Still We Have Been Watching podcast. I'm Rob. I'm the Darkman, and this is Mark. He's the Dorkman.
Fantastic. I'm going to edit that in. That's much better. So, folks, because we're on a Sam Raimi vibe from Doctor Strange of the week, we decided to go for Darkman, didn't we, Rob?
Yeah, I think it's a good one to pick because
it's quite old now, isn't it?
I mean, I'd have been happy to talk about Evil Dead, really, but you know, we've talked about Spider-Man. We've not seen Evil Dead for a while, but Darkman was one where I'd not seen it for so long, so I was quite keen to watch it again to think, you know, I can't even really remember what my opinion was it first time or something. So it seemed like a good one to start, didn't it, as a bit of a deep dive into this.
Now, I had my teenage son watching this with me last night, and
mine came in and out.
Right, and a bit like your son last week, my son gave it an extremely high rating of, yeah, that was all right. So my son gave it a rating of, what was that you're watching? I love it.
Followed by going out the room and coming back in again. Why are you watching this? Was his second review.
Did he smack him the roll at newspaper and said, this is your film history? So
No, I didn't. I felt it hard to defend it, to be honest.
Rob, for me, now we haven't spoken about it. I watched this last night. I think you did as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
We haven't spoken since. A little bit of background. So I think I used to read... Well, I don't think I did used to read Fangoria magazine. And I remember being excited of this. Liam Neeson was an unknown at the time, wasn't he?
Well, I was one of the things. I was making some notes about this as well because, I mean, there's films he'd done before that. You look at his filmography. This was definitely his first starring role, but he'd been in The Bounty, he'd been in Excalibur. There'd been a couple of other things that, looking back now, I go, oh yeah, I remember him.
No,
being in
I didn't really know him from anything else.
I don't know if I actually really. It's hard to think. Did I know him at the time? I don't know.
And I think probably again from Fangoria or Starburst. Remember Starburst magazine, Rob? It was that from director of Evil Dead. Now I went to the cinema to watch this, and I remember just falling in love there and then. Now
this was a video rental.
It's a video,
for me.
Right? Okay.
And I'm not even sure. I mean, I would have been. This is 1990, so I was 17.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if at 17 years old whether I was actually into the Evil Dead. I don't know whether I'd seen them or I knew of them. I can't remember.
Well, I was 20, and I remember my mate had a copy of the Evil Dead. He had a copy of the Evil Dead, and then he had a VHS, and then he had a copy of the Evil Dead 2. And it was that kind of, someone's older brother has got his copy of it. And I've got to be honest, we watched Evil Dead, and kind of, it is a bit crap if I remember rightly, but Evil Dead 2 is a little bit more refined, isn't it? And it's got that.
It's almost like a remake.
It is, isn't it?
It's a sequel, but it's a kind of a remake sequel, isn't it? It's strange how they did it.
So, of course, this is from the guy who did Evil Dead. So, of course, I was well into this. And at the time, I think you've coined the term Raimi-esque. It was... It's again, I was saying this to my son last night. We didn't have superhero films. We didn't have any... I mean, do you know the backstory of this, Rob? About Sam Raimi?
My understanding of it is we've done the same research, looked at the same IMDb Wikipedia page. He was trying to get the rights to Batman.
Yep.
I heard it. It was, out there on the streets of Hollywood, I heard.
Yes, yeah.
And then he was keen on The Shadow, which ended up being a film as well. And so then he just thought, well, I'm going to do my own thing then, with a bit of a sort of a Phantom of the Opera tragic hero vibe to it.
Exactly the same notes as I heard. So it's good that there's no. I mean, it's really hard for if we have any younger viewers. It's really hard to remember those days when we didn't have massive IPs, massive projects.
This was a year after Batman, Keaton's Batman, wasn't it? So nowadays when you think, oh, the market's just flooded with superhero stuff, but there was that little bit of a surge at the time, wasn't it, where studios thinking, what else can we do? So I'd say Shadow came out.
Yep.
What was the Billy Zane one?
The Phantom, is it?
Phantom, Power of 10 Tigers.
Yeah.
Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
That was at the time as well. So there was and Darkman as well. So people were
trying to get that next one, weren't they?
They also seem to go to pulpy comic stuff, so I don't know why people weren't really trying Marvel stuff. But I don't know if some of those old dodgy Marvel films around that time. X-Men, when was that?
Roger Corman. Isn't X-Men?
A little bit later.
He's X-Men just after The Matrix in '99.
Oh, it's quite a bit later then. Yeah. So there was some superhero stuff, but when you look at the superhero stuff they tried to make after Batman, it's some of it's odd choices, but
yeah, it doesn't work. So. You said you haven't watched. I mean, I haven't watched this for a long time. Also, what were your memories of it? Do you remember liking it? I mean, as I said before, I absolutely love this, and I hold this in high regard. I was a little worried because some years ago I said to my daughter, "We're going to watch Highlander," and I sat her down and I said, "This is the best film you're ever going to watch." Well, I got that kind of Jar Jar Binks moment with Highlander because it doesn't really hold up that well, even though it's mega beloved. It's full of 80s cliches and not very good effects, and so I was a little worried that I was going to have the same thing.
I was expecting this to be a bit of pulpy fun.
Yep.
It's a lot less blood and gore than I was expecting.
Very much so.
I thought it is because it comes up as, because out of curiosity I looked at what the rating was, and it said it was R rating. Then you can't really tell if something hasn't been re-certificated by the BBFC, but a DVD version of it on Amazon was an 18 certificate, so it must have been 18 when it came out. Looking at this now, you're thinking strong 12, maybe?
Yeah, there's not, apart from the sort of
15 tops.
You see, does the guy get? I mean, so I'm just going to jump here and there. There's lots of up to the moment, and then the camera goes away, isn't there?
Yeah. So I think maybe. What? But is this worse than Moon Knight? But what's that though? A 14 recommended
12,
on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I was a little worried this was going to be really dated, but I was pleasantly surprised. Now, in some places and others, I mentioned the other week in our Empire Strikes Back audio, how the stop motion of the AT-ATs was kind of charming. I felt the same way in this. There's some obvious stop motion bits.
Bits of stop motion. His hands on the keyboard.
Yeah.
There's a bit of things. The bit at the start, I was worried after. Well, seeing it was only an hour and a half long, that's always alarms for me.
Yeah.
Because I always think that's a sign that something's being chopped up by the studio.
Yeah.
And then the opening bit, the bad guys are hilarious at the bit at the start. The bit at the start
with Eddie Black. Yeah.
And he's leaning there against his Cadillac. Did you notice the bad guys in the background just standing around with pistols in their hands, like pointing it, and they're just standing there with it, just with a pistol, not in the remotely relaxed way, like I've got a pistol in my hand, and they're just all posed around. And then that mad shootout bit where with a man's got an Uzi for a leg. Oh, the bad guys are proper 18. And there's some cars burst out of a crate.
I know. I love this.
Why were the cars? You're having a meeting with some other gangster, right? What we'll do is get some guys in cars, nail them inside a crate so they can drive out and burst out, because that'll throw
Rob,
them.
are we going to go through a sort of story beats, or are we just going to? I mean, I would like to think that many of our listeners have watched this already. I mean, it's very, very old. Do you want to go sort of through the story beats, or just sort of pop through our notes as we go?
You could. Well, I made notes as I was going through it. So yeah, the first thing was just the bad guys. They're just so funny at the start.
Interesting enough, though, you mentioned there all of Eddie Black's bad guys. They're all packing guns, aren't they? And there's cars bursting outside. But Robert G. Durant's guys have got one prosthetic leg,
one gun, and they take them off. Yeah, because what's meant to have happened? Are the other gang meant to have dropped their guns and Durant's guys picked them up? It's just really unclear what's going on. They just seem to be running around shooting each other with wonky camera angles. It reminded me of 60s Batman.
Yes.
And
Robert Durant has got a pistol, and I thought, well, he got patted down a minute ago and gave up all his guns. But there's For me, there are so many scenes in this film that are etched into my memory. Now, I don't know if it's because, as I said before, I'm a super Sam Raimi fanboy. The cigarette lighter, and it's weird actually, the cigar lighter, the cigar chopper.
Cutter.
Because I was sitting there with my son, and he went, "What's he doing to that cigar?" Because that's just not a thing we see anymore. And I said to him, I'm not a smoker, but I know this. You cut the end of the cigar off. And he was like, "Why?" And I went, "I don't actually know." I said, "But I think it's something to do with that."
I'm guessing because of the way it's sealed at both ends, isn't it? So I guess you open it up so the smoke can flow through the end of it, I guess.
Did you know, Rob? No, I'm not going to pretend that I knew this. I watched a Red Letter Media video the other week. You know, at the start, Sam Raimi's got the title credits and it's all smoke and it's reverse film and this, that, the other. Apparently, some of that and some of the bits where, you know, it's like a visual into Darkman's brain and you see like the synapses and stuff. Do you know this little tidbit?
No.
Apparently they repurposed some of that in Spider-Man. When Raimi did Spider-Man, they wanted to pad it out with a few bits and bobs. So you know when he goes into Peter Parker's DNA and there's all weird stuff going on, they did repurpose some Darkman shots for that.
Wow.
I know. Okay. So I put on here 3D printers before 3D printers were a thing. I remember this being a really sci-fi, oh wow, look at that, he's building prosthetic noses and ears and things.
Yeah, and to be honest,
it's a good call.
The whole setup of that is basically what they do in the Mission Impossible films all the time.
Yes.
They scan the face, have a little digital 3D bit turning around, and then they produce. I thought it was funny that the machine that makes the masks, I like those things you see in gift shops with the pins that you push your face again.
I love it.
It's just a big one of those. But yeah, the 3D printer thing was. Might be a bit of that. It's that sort of early days of sort of computer effects, isn't it?
It is. You know, it's enough stuff thrown together to make it look like a high-tech lab. You know, and again, I was just like, look how young Liam Neeson looks and all this.
The first couple of scenes before the lab is blown up made me laugh because both scientists all seem to be working near a lit Bunsen burner, no matter what they're doing.
Yeah.
He's doing something on the computer to do a computer scan of a person's face right next to a lit Bunsen burner. It's just burning away, just doing nothing. And then the other guy's got one, and he's like got a, one of the
water bubbling away or something. Yeah.
Yeah, like a little beaker above a Bunsen burner. What are you doing with that?
It was quite funny because it was just like, that's a photocopier or a fax machine, and that's a computer monitor, and that's something else. It's really quite funny to see all this stuff.
And then it all goes up in smoke with the most ridiculous explosion that actually blows a man through the roof, over into the river. So
I've put on my notes here, 90s businessmen are all assholes. It's that thing, isn't it? It's RoboCop. It's this. I can't think of many more off the top of my head.
I'm glad you said about RoboCop, because what year was RoboCop? Because this reminded me of RoboCop.
Is RoboCop 87, 85? I'll just go to the information superhighway, Rob, while you continue.
Because it reminded me of RoboCop with the gang, or you know where they got all like these really hammy B-movie bad guys.
Yeah, RoboCop's 87. Yeah,
they've all got their own little personality traits, though, haven't they, to make them distinguishable from each other? And it did remind me of that a little bit.
Oh, it really does, doesn't it? There you go.
It makes me.
RoboCop's 87, Darkman's 1990.
Okay. We might have to do a RoboCop.
Oh, absolutely.
Rewind. Yeah, I just wish when I thought of RoboCop whilst watching this, and I kind of wish this had the gore of RoboCop, and I think that's what sets RoboCop apart.
Yeah,
for me, better than Darkman.
There's something really special.
It feels really tame in sort of comparison.
Something I wrote in my notes here. It's got that. I don't know if this is a Sam Raimi thing. I don't know if it is or not. But you see Liam Neeson giving a little bit of a monologue about, it's the dark. We need to get such and such to get it. And he stands forward, and there's like a beam of light going into his eyes, just to sort of dramatise the scene. And also, this film's called Darkman. Did you notice how bright and light it was? Every outdoor scene is a sunny day in clear daylight.
Yes. I'm not quite sure why, but they seem to solve the fact that the reason the fake mask things, the fake skin,
the electric goes off, doesn't it? Or the power goes off.
All goes wrong at exactly 99 minutes, but then they realise but it works in the dark.
Yeah.
So after he becomes Darkman with his bandages and stuff, and he starts making masks again, why doesn't he just do any of the stuff he needs to do at night time?
I know, I don't get. I mean, 99 minutes.
Also,
you've got an hour and a half, haven't you, to get stuff done, I suppose.
Is it only if it's in the sunlight does it bubble away? Because right at the end, he's been out fighting for however long, and then he just whips a mask out of his bag, sticks it on, and wanders off. So why hasn't that degraded? Is it because it's in his bag?
I think so.
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe ambient sunlight. I wrote on my notes, crazy camera angles. I think by the time the lab gets attacked, I think Raimi's sort of settled into this now, hasn't he? So we have, like you said, the Batman 66 angles.
Yeah.
You've got the inside of a wall shelf cupboard as Liam Neeson's head is smashed into. For me, this was all stuff I hadn't seen before at the cinema. Now we've seen it a million times, haven't we? But then it was so different.
I sort of had a bit of a deja vu moment with if you'd have asked me what's that film where there's got like a little bird going dip 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 and then suddenly it makes an explosion.
Oh, I love that.
I wouldn't have been able to place it, but I could remember that scene. I just couldn't connect it to Darkman. So with that was quite good. Yeah, Liam Neeson's not he's not great in it.
Again, it's like it's ham dolled up to 10, isn't it?
Well, so after he's been blown up,
Rob, sorry, before you get there, I've got stop motion melting hands. I quite like that. It was the old. You remember the Hellraiser? It was obviously a wax hand.
That's a bit like that. Reminds me of the Indiana Jones stuff, though, isn't it? Because the way the night goes. When the guy goes all old in the third Indiana Jones and the face melting in the first one, it reminded me of that bit of stuff as well. After the explosion, Jenny Agutter's in this.
I know. Now, any American Werewolf in London fan, I'll be like, oh, Jenny Agutter.
Did you get the other American Werewolf in London thing?
Isn't John Landis one of the doctors?
Yeah, he's standing pretty much next to Jenny Agutter in it. Yeah.
I must be wrong on this. I have convinced myself, and I haven't looked up IMDb yet. I think Sam Raimi is one of the junior doctors there as well.
No.
Is that not right?
Ivan Raimi.
Oh.
Is it Ted?
Ted Raimi is one of the henchmen, isn't he? With the round glasses. Rob, going back.
I believe Ivan Raimi does writing with him, doesn't he? I think.
Yes. That's a good family there, isn't it?
I think Ivan Raimi is one of the other doctors, so he just keeps his family in.
The nodding bird moment.
Yeah.
For me, that is forever linked, only because I think the scene is very, very similar to Alien 3. You know, the dropping of is it a flare or is it a bullet that drops down in Alien 3? Do you remember that? And they've coated all the hallways with fire stuff, gel. And
I think I've only ever seen it the once, maybe twice. Don't really know it very well.
In that, somebody drops like a flare, and it goes down, and it's slow motion, touches the floor, and then there's like a slow mo, and then it blows up, and that's the same sort of thing in Alien, in Darkman with the bird.
With the Jenny Agutter bit, I thought because I was watching it, thinking, okay, so is this a superhero movie? What's his power? I can't remember what his power was. So his power is. Because he's the bit where she sticks a needle in his leg's funny as well. So she's trying to prove that he's got such bad burns. So what they do is switch off his pain receptor so he can't feel pain anymore. Yep. And then she demonstrated by just stabbing his leg in front of these doctors.
Nice.
And they're all like, "Oh yes,
clever,
nice.
clever, well done." Yeah.
Yeah. But because he can't feel pain anymore, and that's the thing, is that there are people in the world that can't feel pain. Yes. I remember reading about a young girl who broke her arm and didn't feel the pain of it, and it's quite risky, obviously, because you don't know your limits.
Yeah, exactly. You're
so Darkman guy, whatever his name is, Darkman can't feel pain anymore.
Yeah.
So as a result, he's got extra strength and madness.
Well, apparently the Flim Flam says there's no outlet for his feelings and emotions and all that, right? And it builds up, and he has expanded energy, expanded strength. And I'm like, yeah, a bit of chin stroke in there.
So does that mean if I stay away from anything that might hurt me physically, my strength increases the longer I go without getting hurt?
A bit like if you go blind, you instantly have like the hearing of a bat or something. Rob, I've got in my notes now. I remember absolutely squeeing over this scene. Squee years ago. It doesn't look great now, but I still love the intent. And it was Frances McDormand at the side of the road looking at the explosion, and then she becomes a widow.
At the funeral.
Yeah, the transition.
It's a nice transition if you could do that nowadays with slick effects.
Yes, it's a bit hokey there, isn't it?
You can tell with these older movies, and this is only 90, but you can tell when an effect is coming because the film stock kind of changes. So there's a bit later on when they're in the boardroom and there's an edit, and all of a sudden the film stock looks slightly different. I thought, hang on a minute, they're in a boardroom, where's the effect going to be? And he opens the doors and you see the special effects.
It's the skyline, isn't
green
it?
Screen skyline, yeah. So you can, that's a bit off-putting.
It's a shame, isn't it?
You can tell when they're coming, but the idea of it, the transition, because she's wearing the blacks and
fabulous.
Then black, yeah. I like the way they did the explanation that that hardly any of his body was left apart from his ear when that guy's just standing having a chat to the gravedigger. No, you're not doing much. Well, I had to bury an ear.
Nothing here.
And the gravedigger's just standing there. Imagine how awkward that would be at an actual funeral. The gravedigger just stood there chatting away, watching like he's waiting.
I'll fill it in.
Yeah, he's waiting for you to clear off. You finished, yeah?
I put on my notes the madness in his eyes. So he wakes up, doesn't he, when he's on that spinning wheel in the hospital. And again, it's that. Well, as we see with Doctor Strange today, Sam Raimi and eyes are he's mad on him, isn't he? And he goes into and it's this CGI thing of neural pathways blowing up and skulls and spinning fire and laughing skeletons and all that sort of stuff. Love it.
It's completely bonkers.
I put next
what he's doing there, I don't know what he's doing.
Next in my notes, lightning and rain in an alleyway, similar to Spider-Man 2. Because there's a little bit of that, isn't there, in Spider-Man 2 when he gives up?
Yeah. There are moments in this that made me think of the Spidey movies.
And then I even put on here same story as Spider-Man 2, because there's a whole lot of, disgraced doctor goes mad. Obviously, it's Doc Ock, isn't it?
Raimi's kind of disowned Darkman, I think, but I guess from a career point, you think, well, if it wasn't for that, I don't think would he have got the Spider-Man gigs? Maybe.
I don't know.
Because this is a bit of a testing ground, isn't it? Really, I suppose. The lab rebuilding, where, I don't know where the electricity is. Someone pointed out.
He has a generator for getting the 3D
but there's a bit where he does
work,
like a slow motion bit when he sets fire to a rolled up piece of paper and slow-mo throws it across, and then it creates some fire. And I just thought, what's that all about in the lab?
It's heating stuff up, isn't it?
It just dusts off a laptop that's been in this massive explosion and gets it working again.
Oh no, all the kit works, doesn't it?
Well, what's he been doing for like food and I don't know.
Well, Rob, I call this a little bit of the old Anakin pod race thing. So obviously in episode 1, he's one lap or 2 laps behind, and he absolutely nails the race so fast. This is the same. Darkman is still working out of a destroyed, half burnt down lab, and he can still do it. What was he doing in his normal good lab?
With an assistant. He had an assistant before.
He should have nailed it. But there we go.
Yeah.
Have you heard this sort of like, I don't know if it's a fan theory, that Robert G. Durant is in love with Ted Raimi's character? Have you heard this?
No. It's weird that they take the time. Doesn't he? He asks him to go and get him a drink, and Durant goes and gets it.
Yeah, so earlier on, Ted Raimi shoots the assistant, doesn't he? And then
Durant's kind of proud of him.
Yeah, I'm really proud of you. And then later they're at that gala ball, and he says to Ted Raimi, "Could I get you a drink? Would you like a martini?" And he goes off, and there's definitely some undercut. And then a bit later on, when the bald guy, Darkman dresses up as a bald guy, they say, "Where's Ricky? Where's Ricky?" Durant loves him. Or likes him a lot, and you think, oh yeah, okay.
So I didn't pick up that third one. The first 2 references, I started thinking, is he meant to be like his son, like those hoping to sort of inherit the gangster
Take
business
over,
off him or something, maybe. But again, I suppose like I was saying about the RoboCop thing, it takes the time to give them a little bit of personalities, doesn't it, to try and make all the henchmen all slightly different. So yeah, with the Ted Raimi's like the novice one, then you've got the non-speaking muscle head one.
Yeah.
You've got the long-haired purple suit wearing one that stands very wide-legged when shooting a machine gun from, which he holds down by his crotch. Well, I don't know what that's all about. How to hold a machine gun.
He's like a heavy metal guitarist, isn't he? So Ted Raimi gets killed with his head stuck up out the drain. I love that. Really fast car. It's that weird thing, isn't it? That sped up car. Ted Raimi's head all flopping around like a weird doll puppet.
I guess it was just... I guess it's like just a puppet head, isn't it? Maybe.
It's got to be.
That's
Again,
a bit bonkers.
We've got stop motion hands typing, and again at the time that was just great. Just great. And it's how cool is that? Because again, we weren't used to seeing this sort of, I'm air quoting, horror here. It's got an air of the Harryhausen, I guess, hasn't it? And all these sort of, like you say, Phantom of the Opera in it.
Well, it's a bit odd because this is post Batman, so it's not quite pitching to the same audience that would have seen Batman, like as a family film, especially because this was 18 at the time. So it's definitely not a family film. But then it's not for the gorehounds either, and I feel like it sort of falls a bit between the two. Yeah. I'm guessing that Raimi was trying to make, a bit more of a harder 18 film, I guess. And then the studio's like, no, because of Batman, we want to make it more mainstream. I hear they cut a lot out.
Yes,
the way they disowned it, they chopped it all the way down to like an hour and a half, and I
wonder if there's like a darker cut of it anywhere.
I don't know.
Then Rob, we come to the bit everyone remembers. It's the fun fair.
Well, before the fun fair, you said to me, or was it after? Or yes, it's before the fun fair. The bit when he goes back to his lab and he's mad and he puts a funnel on his head.
A cone on his head.
And then he starts dancing. I'm the clown. Everyone look at me.
$5 to see the freak or something like that, isn't it?
Oh, that's so cringy. What is going on with that?
It's very odd, isn't it? It's obviously...
It's just weird seeing Liam Neeson doing it. He's this big tough guy. And it's hard to imagine, like, when Sam Raimi was on set, what was his direction in that sit to Liam Neeson? Put a funnel on your head. I mean, cast someone as an actor, and I want to see the anguish in your eyes. Come on, I want to see you cry. I want to see your frustrations. No, put a cone on your head.
Brilliant.
And dance around the lab. Okay.
it's crap, isn't it? But I love it. But
exactly, it's crap.
It's crap B movie, but I love it so much.
The elephant bit.
So
the elephant.
The fair. I love the guys.
Reginald D. Hunter.
Okay.
You know he is, don't you? The comedian guy.
No.
I can't remember if it's when I went to see him live or on a stand-up routine that I've listened to him on. I've got on CD, but he does a little routine all about this scene about taking the effing elephant.
Yeah.
So this bit is the bit that I really remember. I think because of him talking about it.
The scene he cracks, doesn't it? As his mental state is cracking as well. And
then again, that guy's fingers when he bends
them back. Lovely.
These rubber fingers when he bends back.
You love it, yeah.
It's Liam Neeson again. It's just. Oh man, what is he doing in this?
It's just again.
I wonder if any other actor would have just been the same. Everything's played. It's so panto, isn't it? Everything's so broad. It's playing to the people at the back row. There's no subtlety in anything he says, and some of the lines are so on the nose and bonkers as well.
Do you think Liam Neeson hates this as well? Now he's done Taken and all these serious films.
Yeah, I don't know whether this you look back and just go, oh, it's fun though. It's it's a lovable bit of fun, or I think I found it quite cringy. I like this stuff.
I did, but I still love it. So I've got here great helicopter stunts. I like them.
Oh, they made them most of that, didn't they? They obviously spent a day doing a helicopter
flying
stunt.
around with a gun. I mean, you can't
A
knock
guy hanging on the
real-life
rope.
stunts, can you? There,
waving his arms around, pretending like, oh, I'm gonna. And there's that joke bit when he suddenly crashes through a window. He goes, sorry, or something.
Bye, yeah. And it's a bit where he's running across the top of lorries when he's too low.
So whenever there's something where you think this could be a dramatic moment, or an emotional moment, or a horrifying moment, it's suddenly
Raimi
Raimi just suddenly throws in like this little silly gag.
Is Raimi the precursor to James Gunn? Because James Gunn does that, doesn't he? It's serious moments, now a joke.
You saying that as well, because in watching this and seeing it, I mean, I could see there's bits that reminded me of Batman. I can see the influence this has had on James Gunn stuff as well, and Peacemaker-y stuff. It's that kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That kind of silliness. It's like, with the John Cena bits when he's like suddenly starts dancing around in his underpants in the Peacemaker episodes, and it's that tone, isn't it, which is like a really fine line.
It's like I've done 10 minutes of seriousness, now I've got to stick some slapstick. Apparently, but Raimi does love slapstick, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, isn't Three Stooges stuff he's a big fan of, isn't he?
Apparently. Oh, absolutely. That's in Army of Darkness, which again I haven't watched that for forever. Maybe we should do a bit of an Evil Dead trilogy or something.
Army of Darkness is just after this. Year or two after this, I think.
I've got Building Site Final Battle. Again, there's a bit of RoboCop, there's a bit of Spider-Man 3, there's a bit of I don't know what else has been in a there's another film with a building site. I can't remember what it is. We've got the bolt gun with the camera following the bolt through the air. Again, I love that. Just great. But weirdly, do you notice how close the guy is to Darkman? And he's
shooting the bolts and he keeps missing him.
Kind of just to the side, and I'm thinking, dude, he's so close. Are you trying to kill him? Are you trying to scare him?
Maybe he's trying to scare him. I don't know.
Do you know this follows that thing? And this might be a Spider-Man 3 thing actually. Frances McDormand falls off, and then her handcuffs catch a bit of bar sticking out.
Yeah, so she obviously phased through the poles somehow.
It's that angle where you couldn't get that angle on if you tried. I don't know how. Yeah. Again, I love that sort of nitpick in films.
Well, there's a similar thing that's really bad in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. He's on the German made-up tank thing, and he rolls to the side, lands on the gun turret, and then his strap of his shoulder bag thing is over the turret. You think, well, how did that get over the turret? And he just rolled and landed on the turret. Doesn't make any sense.
You know what is interesting in the era? Obviously, we're especially this is what my son said. So at 17, he's used to CGI through and through, and most of the way through, he was like, "Oh, I really want to see his face." And then 3/4 way, you get to see him without any bandages. And he said to me,
which isn't bad.
And he said to me, "That looks really good." And I thought, you know what, it really does look good because it's all practical, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean the teeth thing looks a bit odd, doesn't it? Obviously, because we're about to build his fake teeth onto his lip, I suppose. Yeah. So it comes out a little bit more, but it's not bad. Really, I mean, I didn't think that was cringy at all. The whole look, I think, is as a silhouette and stuff like that isn't bad. With the long wind cheater coat and the hat and then the bandages and stuff like that. So as an image for a sort of superhero character, it's not bad.
Did you notice quite early on he had a very, very brand new looking hat and coat? So I don't know whether he just stole them from a store while in the mask.
His bandages suddenly go cleaner and then they seem to go dirty again by the end.
That's right.
I don't know if that's continuity or you just meant to assume that he has. Of course, you'd have to change his bandages.
I did work it out that the computer is remodelling his face. I think it was 23 days it took to remodel. It was like 570 hours. So I worked out what it was.
But in that time, he managed to make a mask of the bald bad guy.
Yes. So if that was real computers, the computer wouldn't be able to. And you look later on, he's got a whole cupboard full, hasn't he, of hands and faces and arms and things.
Oh yeah, there's a bit at the end where he's hanging from the helicopter.
Yeah.
And Durant rips his mask off.
Yes.
And he's got the bandages on under the mask.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
why would you? What? Why would you put the bandages on and then put a mask over the top of the bandages?
Am I totally wrong here? Is this a Total Recall thing? I know it was used in The Dark Knight of the bad guy with a mask on to look like the good guy, so the other bad guy, your mate with the purple
Shoot
trousers.
him! It's him, not me. Like
No, not that bit. You know, there's the guy with the beard and the ponytail. Is he Spanish? Is he? I think. And the other guy with the purple suit on. The guy goes off, and then you see him come running back, and he's Darkman. So the guy with the long hair shoots him, and then he takes it off, and his mouth is covered over with like a tape, isn't it? So it's like a mask on top of a mask.
I'm pretty sure it's in Mission Impossible that
is
sort of gag thing is, yeah.
So I know they used it in Dark Knight, didn't they? Because they get the doctors to look like the bad guys. Do you remember that?
In what?
In the Dark Knight. Is it the Dark Knight? When
I don't know.
Yeah. When you know Batman, he's got his VR, whatever you call it, his radar goggles on, and they go to that thing, and all the bad guys have got guns strapped to their hands.
Yeah. But that idea of having the mask, of someone having their mouth taped up and then a fake mask over their face, so they end up getting shot, and then they realise, oh my god, it was one of my own team, but he was gagged. I've got a feeling that's in Mission Impossible, in one of the Mission Impossible films.
More than likely. That
they've just copied from this. But I mean, the whole mask creating thing is pretty much the same as it is in Mission Impossible film. So I'm guessing who made all the Mission Impossible? Oh, it's loads of different people, isn't it? So it's not like you can say it's one person that ripped it off. I don't know.
For me, there's a certain era. Now, I always bunch all these together. So I've got, now I know the years are split apart, but it's that sort of vibe. It's your RoboCop, your Predator, your Darkman, your Total Recall, those kind of 80s, late 80s, early 90s. I would not quite cyberpunky. Is that corporate America, bad companies with your kind of
the businessman thing in their big suits.
In fact, Rob, we're gonna have to watch Total Recall because I love Total Recall. Well,
I think with some of that stuff, and particularly, I know a lot. Some of those films you mentioned, it's Paul Verhoeven you got to thank for some of this stuff.
Starship Troopers,
but I think your summer blockbusters then, and particularly your sci-fi ones, did get away with more blood and guts. I mean, the Arnie Total Recall compared to this is super violent.
Total Recall's horrendous for violence, isn't it?
But the problem now is they've realised that we don't really want to make R-rated films quite so much because it hurts the box office. So let's pitch everything lower. So you get something like Deadpool as like a comedy one, but you know, you don't get like a sci-fi actioner that's violent like those films.
I mean,
anymore.
even like, say, was it Edge of Tomorrow or Live, Die, Repeat? It's aliens being blasted, so it's not really.
Yeah, and all the Matrix things and all the superheroes things, they're all very
CGI,
bloodless.
Yeah,
where this stuff, some of the late 80s, early 90s stuff, you're having heads exploding. Even like the gunshots had a real sort of, you know, the squibs and stuff are quite bloody. And
Rob, we're going to have to watch Total Recall because
arms ripped off in Total Recall.
Sorry
isn't
to throw this out here again. I know I've probably told this story a million times. It was the first time I ever watched the THX1138 sound. And
hang on, let me just hang on, just let me get comfy. Yeah, go on.
Go on, yeah. And it's the neck cracking, the blood squibs, the shooting arms chopping.
Yeah,
the sound is amazing. So we're gonna have to watch that.
Every punch in that has got like a big, exaggerated crunchy sound to it.
Going back to this, right? Surely, I think you may have mentioned this last week. I think we were talking about Avatar, weren't we? You said, is Avatar well loved, or is it in the? We put up, or I think you did, you put up on Twitter, didn't you? We're going to watch this film. And someone said that would be just fine. So people are still quoting this film. I do. I still say that line myself to this day. I think this is a really great film. Rob, how many Robert G. Durant wigs do you want to give this out of 10?
I would give it how many A-team henchmen out of 10?
Yeah.
I'd probably I reckon about a 6.
6.
Yeah.
Now you see, this is one of them for me again, a bit like Star Wars.
Well, this is. See, before you say your score, this doesn't have any. It doesn't have a strong memory for me. It doesn't have a lot of nostalgia. So even though I can't quite really remember watching this first time, but obviously when I did see it, it's obviously not left a big enough impression on me. So I'm not like, oh, I know it's hokey, but I still love it. I'm really I was just watching it thinking, this is sort of cheesy and fairly harmless, but it's not dreadful. It's got, you know, it's almost like its heart's in the right place. It's trying to entertain me, and it's entertaining me, but my God, there's some laughable stuff in, and a lot of that is just Liam Neeson and the completely over the top stuff in it. But I'm thinking you're going to be going 8s or 9s on this, aren't
Rob, again, I've got such a strong emotional connection with this. Again, reading Fangoria, being a fan of The Evil Dead. Obviously, we've got a Bruce Campbell cameo at the end. Loving everything, loving the scene, the Francis McDormand metamorphosizing into the funeral. Honestly, I was geeking out over this when it came out, and now it's sort of sat itself into that familiar, enjoyable. You know, it's right as a Lost Ark type thing where you love a film. No, it's not. No, it's not the same as that. But it's that comfortable film that you can. I know. It's that comfortable film where you can sit, you can watch it, you know that's going to happen, but you just love it. Rob, I'm today, because I'm on a high, loving it. I'm going to give it 9 stop motion zombie hands out of 10 because I just love it. It's just, and watching Doctor Strange the other day, you think the guy, he's still pulling the same shtick, isn't he, Sam Raimi, just with a lot more money.
Yeah.
But I love it. Yeah.
Have you ever seen? I think it's called Crime Wave.
No, what's that?
I think that's I've got a feeling. I think it's written by the Coen brothers or something, because they're all matey. And the Coen brothers apparently did a script pass on Darkman.
Well, did you know, now I may be getting this wrong, and I really hope I'm not, and this is from Red Letter Media, apparently at the time, Raimi was house sharing with one of the Coen brothers and Francis McDormand, and that's how they all sort of got together and so let's do this film.
And she kind of fell out with Sam Raimi making this. She wasn't very happy about stuff on this, but obviously they sort of moved past it because they're all still sort of close friends. And I've got a feeling there's another movie that they've kind of both sort of worked on where it was a Raimi script idea and they directed it or something. But it's definitely Crime Wave, but I don't know how easy that is to get hold of. I just remember seeing that years ago. Do you remember Alex Cox's Movie Drone?
Video Drone, was it? Or Movie Drone or something
on BBC Two, and it used to show all those cult films. And I remember seeing Crime Wave on that. I'm pretty sure it's called Crime Wave.
Rob, is there? I'm thinking BBC TV, but I will also accept streaming. We don't have a weekly film review show on TV anymore, do we? And I just don't know about it. I used to love that type of thing.
Kermode has a little mini bit that goes into, you can watch separately on BBC iPlayer that's in BBC Newsnight.
Okay.
But I'm not sure if he's still actually on that anymore. You mean like the Barry Norman?
Yeah, your filmmaker, because Claudia Winkleman did film.
Yeah, there's Jonathan Ross, and then it was Claudia Winkleman, and then I don't know who it was after that, and I don't think that actually exists anymore. I guess with the internet, no one's going to be bothered watching what a film critic on TV says.
I'd love to watch something like that nowadays.
Yeah, well, Barry Norman's very fond place in my heart for growing up watching film review stuff. Absolutely. And look where I am now. I know, you're the host of a super successful podcast talking about films from the late 80s. I'm my generation's Barry Norman. Lovely. And on that note, there's a Rob, one day we'll be like a super successful podcast and people will go back and clip this out and they'll say, what a big-headed git. If you've enjoyed watching this video, please click subscribe.